Lesson 72. In this lesson, we learn about what it means to show possession of an object. And in the text here, you can see that I show two examples of how we show possession in English. One way uses the apostrophe, and the other way makes use of the word of. And you see lots of examples there of how each one is used. Whenever we see a possessive in Latin and we want to translate it into English, we'll have to decide whether to use an apostrophe or the word of. And like in other situations, we'll use the context of the sentence, and like we always do, we'll try to render the Latin into English in such a way that sounds best and is the most accurate. At the bottom of page 87, I have a little chart that shows you some of the basic rules to remember when using apostrophes. Let's take a look at rule number 1. In rule number 1, imagine for a moment that you have a noun that does not end in S, and you want to make it possessive. To do so, you would simply add an apostrophe and the letter S. So in our example over to the right, the word that we're looking at is the word Kate, K-A-T-E. Lauren always wants to borrow Kate's Latin book. So you see the Latin book belongs to Kate, and so to make the word Kate possessive, we add an apostrophe and the letter S. So the word Kate turns into the word Kate's, K-A-T-E apostrophe S. In rule number 2, imagine for a moment that you have a singular noun that ends in S, and you want to make it a possessive. In our example sentence over to the right, you see that the word we're examining is the word class. The word class is spelled C-L-A-S-S, and so you see it ends in the letter S. However, it's not plural, it's a singular word that just happens to end in the letter S. So to make a word like that plural, it's the same as rule number 1. You simply add an apostrophe and then the letter S. So our example sentence says, the class's favorite subject was Latin. So you see the favorite subject belongs to the class. So we want to make the word class possessive, so we add an apostrophe and the letter S. So rule 1 and rule 2 are exactly alike. You add an apostrophe and the letter S. Rule number 3 is slightly different. Let's look at rule number 3 together. Imagine for a moment that you have a plural noun that ends in S, and you want to make that word possessive. To do so, you would add an apostrophe to the end of the word, and you would just leave it at that. So if you look at our example sentence, you'll see that the word we're examining here is the word books. The word book is spelled B-O-O-K, but we're looking at the plural form, which is B-O-O-K-S, books. So to make the word books possessive, we add an apostrophe to the end, and the word is spelled B-O-O-K-S apostrophe. Let's read our example sentence. Due to increased interest in Latin, all the book's covers are starting to wear out. So you see in this sentence, the covers belong to the books. The word books is plural, so we add the apostrophe to the end, and it's spelled B-O-O-K-S apostrophe. Now keep in mind that there are a couple of more rules to know, but they're slightly more complicated. So in this lesson, I just gave you the most simple and important rules to remember. And in the next lesson, we'll learn how to do possessives in Latin.